Boom. What's up, GM? Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Avatar. I look a little loud, so hopefully I didn't blow your eardrums out. What up, what up, what up? We got an awesome show here today, guys, but before we dive on into it, let me just shout out a few of our sponsors, and then we will get on in. First off, we got Founder Keys in the house. If you haven't picked up a Founder Key yet, go do that. Right now, there is only 0.1% until the first airdrop of trading cards goes out to Founder Key holders. So if you want to get on that first airdrop, go pick up a Founder Key if you haven't already. That is the main piece of the collection that I'm growing with Metaskins over there, and that's going to be giving back to you guys. So anyone that wants to have a part of what Metaskins is doing in the future is going to want to have a Founder Key, because you'll get all the perks going forward. And you guys know all the spiel about that. If you don't already, go check it out on the website, go check it out on Twitter, go check it out in our Discord. You know, links are in the bio. And Melee Dose. Melee Dose is an awesome supporter of the podcast. Hooks me up with my THC fix. It is a Delta 9 THC. Don't really understand what makes it any different than regular THC, but it definitely gets you high. Go pick some of this up if you are interested in that kind of fun stuff. They got vapes, they got gummies. I think they're coming out with a new flavor here soon too. Right now they got both the Blueberry Mutant Wedding Cake and the Mandarin Cookies, both branded with a mutant ape and a bored ape. So that's super cool to see. If you do go to meleydose.com and want to buy some stuff, use code Krafter, Krafter at checkout. Get yourself 15% off your order. And that's good for any order, so not just like your first one or anything. So take advantage of that every time you make an order. Yeah, I love them. I rip them almost every podcast. Not today. Taking it easy during the week, but on the weekends you'll find me ripping a vape here and there. But anyways, let me get us over to the man of the hour. If I can find the right screen, that's why. Boom. What's up, Tuschay? You're unmuted now. You're muted for a second. No, you're good now. And I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Doing well, man. I'm chilling. I'm over here and visiting Florida for the first time in 3 years. So I'm hanging out, catching up with some friends.
Nice. Did you refresh my memory? You obviously have spent time in Florida from the sounds of it, but did you grow up in Florida or?
New York. I lived in New York until I was like 14, and then I moved to Florida and lived here until I was 28, and then moved over to the West Coast for the last 5 years or so, 4 years.
Gotcha. And how do you know people in Florida?
Man, high school. Like I went through high school all here, so you know we all grew up being friends, and yeah, it's my main core friend group is here. You know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you said it's been 3 years since you've been back?
Yeah, 3 years, man. It's crazy how fast time goes by, but yeah, 3 whole years. Which actually, the last time I came back was for Mr. Gnarls' wedding, who I'm in his office right now.
I was gonna say we gotta dive into that. Where in the world are you? Mr. Gnarls is.
Yeah, Mr. Gnarls. This is the room that he's been putting together for about a year now. I've been trying to convince him to start streaming and stuff. And so he's been putting together this like perfect streamer room. And it's kind of just a shame that I'm the first one to have to break it in for him. But I've been telling him to go live for like about, I know the stream knows this, for about 2 months now at least. So we'll see if we can get him on and screen here in a little bit, break the ice.
Hell yeah. That's funny. So you're breaking it in for him.
Yeah, you know.
What is Mr. Gnarls going to be streaming?
Well, interestingly enough, we play a lot of video games together. So lately we've been playing a lot of GTA, But we'll probably be streaming a lot of Sandbox stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing a lot of Vox Edit stuff, so he might do that a little bit. But yeah, who knows? I think we as gamers right now, we kind of ebb and flowing through a lot of games. Like there's nothing that really retains our attention for more than like a week. I don't know why. But so it's probably going to be a lot of diverse things if I had to guess.
I feel that. That's kind of the gamer way. I mean, I guess like there are streamers that just stream one thing, but
It's hard, man.
Yeah.
Like I think once you get into that, like if it's great for a year. Maybe you love the game for a year, but you start seeing that those streamers that really only play one certain game get burned out really quickly. So for sure, it's easier to keep it just open. I just play whatever I want at any time.
Right. Yeah.
So.
No, I think that's the way to go. At least that's like the way that I would go. I don't really like plan on becoming like a streamer. But if I was to like try and go that route, I would definitely niche myself as someone that plays multiple games and not just stick to the one, because like you said, that can become a real grind over the long haul.
And then you compound that with putting together a schedule, and then you have to do the same thing every day. It's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. There's better ways to do it. For those of you that are catching this and have never heard of or met or know anything about Tuschay, do you want to give us just a quick little intro overview of who you are and what you've been up to? It doesn't have to go into everything. If you haven't, go back and watch the first episode we did, and that'll give you guys a good overview of everything that's going on, but this will just be a little synopsis for anyone that's tuning in.
I guess primarily I'm an artist, illustrator kind of thing, cartoon kind of thing, but now I'm more of a game developer in the Sandbox, and have a studio that we now have about 12 people in, that we're creating games for the Sandbox, kind of as a one of the partner game development studios and a marketing agency within that as well. So that's kind of what we are in a nutshell right now. Yeah.
Perfect. Speaking of the Sandbox and developing things, I see in the chat's blown up, by the way. I don't know if you have it pulled up.
I gotta say hi to some people if that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Shakespeare, what's going on? VVox, we got Nate in the house, Jazz Wolf, look at this. Guys, I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. Well, we got Sparky here. Iba, what's going on? Oh yeah, I love it, guys. Thank you so much. And Nate, thank you so much. I appreciate the mushroom sword and glasses, man. Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's been shout out chat.
It's awesome. Actually, a lot of the people that are in this chat now work with us. So Nate's part of the team, Shakespeare's part of the team as well.
Yeah.
I don't know who else we have in here, but yeah, we have that's kind of what I wanted to do with Tuschay Studios is, take that whole community and kind of foster it and hopefully grow it into what, it's like, they always say like promote from within and stuff like that. I thought hire from within as well, like hire from within the community and think like, these people understand the Funguys as well as I do and hopefully want to do something with them as well. So that's been a lot of fun for me over the last few months is like really trying to like share these ideas, but then more, give up some of these ideas and say what you guys want to do with it. That's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I bet it's been a lot of fun. I've loved kind of watching your journey and like seeing these kind of things kind of progress. And I'm actually gonna pull up, where is it? That's not working. Cool. People are not going to be able to see you, but they're going to be able to see the screen that I'm talking about. So I'm going to pull it up here right now. Shout out to Team Tuschay Studios.
Nice.
If you want to say anything about any one or all of them, I don't want to put you on the spot, but
dude, no, they're all great.
But
it is hard to single anybody out. I got to do a huge shout out to Wayward, who's been with me literally a year now, and like super helpful, like helping me help manage all the team, get like a style going for the Funguys, and really kind of helping me create like the look and feel of what the Funguys is now. Huge shout out to her. But like we have so many amazing people on the team that it's really hard to say anything, specifically about anybody. Mr. Gnarls has been my best friend since I was like 14. Um, awesome to have him part of the team, and like, it's like a childhood thing that we're like kind of doing now and creating and stuff.
Yeah.
And but everybody, I mean, Steven, Stefanos right there, Biagi, they were like kind of the first two that I hired on, and I mean, it's super bright. I mean, amazing talent. We got the Electronics, Maddox. I mean, you guys all know them. Nate, of course, like Shakespeare helping with these animations. You guys are all like killing it,
Hell
and
yeah.
it's just been so amazing, man. I mean, it's really it's something that you don't. It's scary, right? Like you're starting a company that is, we're all just kind of hoping this works, right? Like Sandbox is we're a company within another company almost, and so it is kind of weird in those terms. Is like there's a lot of hurdles that you have to face that I don't know if it's normal in business to have to face them. But so there's that sense of like this is kind of new territory that we're kind of doing. So it's really great to do it with friends, because otherwise it's like it's hard to know exactly what the right thing to do is every day. And so if you can kind of be honest with each other and bounce ideas off each other and kind of like have a natural progression to how the company kind of evolves, I think it works out way better in the end than, I don't know, getting someone that has no idea who you are, what the concept is, what the idea of anything is. And we did have a couple of those team members join as well who have been absolutely killing it too. So, but it's something that I was really happy to see. We can cultivate like a group of friends almost that will work on this together. So, it's been awesome.
No, yeah, I love that. And I feel like that's the way to go. I don't know if that's how it'll always be,
Right.
but
It's
right now it totally makes sense to take that approach.
Yeah, my hope was like, this isn't the end of our growth at all, like this is
Right.
us just starting. So I wanted that core team that really was there from the beginning to be those people that knew me, knew the project, knew what we were doing, and then had their own ideas to go from that, right? Because that allows me to then go, okay, you get a team now, you get a team now, you get a team now as well when we start hiring more people.
Yeah.
And it's not just up to me to have to download all that information into everybody again. So it was kind of pivotal that we had that like the familiarity within the team before we got 20 people, we got 30 people, because I don't want all the projects that we're currently working on are fungi projects, right? Like we have 5 fungi projects in development right now. We have no client work that we're working on at the moment. We're in talks with a few clients, but from the Sandbox specifically, but this is all kind of just that's it. But right now we're mainly focused on creating fungi games. So I really wanted those games to have people working on them that actually cared about the experiences, right? And actually wanted to bring new ideas to it. So that's the core team, and that's kind of what I've tried developing there, is like that a little family within the team that actually cares about the project. So then we do start hiring people that don't know anything about the Sandbox even. That it's easy to bring them into a group of friends and go, everybody, you want to share what you think about the Sandbox, instead of me having to teach someone from scratch. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's just gonna, as you continue to grow, you're just gonna continue to attract more team members that I'm sure are more like-minded, like the team that you already have. And it'll help kind of weed out the members that aren't, because you already have that strong core group that is going to keep the team how you kind of like would like it
Well,
to be.
it's been hard, man, because like to be honest with you, I wish I could hire more and more people, right? But it's a fine balance between knowing, this is my first time having to, manage different projects and kind of put myself outside of the artist role and more of the, like a project manager role, right? And so biting too many of those, getting too much of that on your plate at once is kind of a challenge, right? And so I really had to be careful with how I scaled up. I really wanted to make sure that I didn't go too fast, too hard, because then I would be overwhelmed. I'm not necessarily saying I'm the greatest at this is my first time trying to like put on this like CEO role, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm trying to figure out how to actually work it within my lifestyle, my schedule, my time, and also be able to like still give people the autonomy and stuff to do the things that they need to do. So, going from 0 to 40 people is just, it wasn't realistic at the time. But over time, progression, all that stuff, people, will eventually need more people on the team to be able to, everything you find when you start doing this, that everything needs another hand in it, right?
Totally.
And that you could also always offer more help to your team members by adding another person here and there. But it's about that fine balance of being able to figure out how much we can do at first, right? So yeah, it's been an interesting challenge over the last few months, definitely. That I'm enjoying it because it's a new kind of challenge. It's what I always hoped to be having to do instead of having to work for anybody in an office, right?
Yeah.
So it's a nice challenge for me, but it is definitely something that I go, man, is no joke. What we're doing is like a lot of work. It's not, and it's not always public facing work. It's a lot of like
Uh-huh.
behind the scene talking to people and doing all these things and meetings and a lot of stuff that, and we're just getting started. So this is only going to get more intense, more people, it's a excitement that I have to see where it goes. It's almost like trying to see, where, like, I don't know, meeting one of your friends' kids and then seeing them. This is a reference for me because I'm coming back to Naples after 3 years, and like I'm seeing all my friends' kids that like were babies. And now they're
Yeah.
talking to me, man, and it's like, what is going on, dude? So it's like, yeah, it's kind of like that, right? Like I'm excited to see how it grows and where we actually end up doing. One of the things that I'm really passionate about in the next few years is trying to come up with a cartoon, and shift more into 100% of a gaming company to maybe 50/50 gaming and entertainment slash animation.
Hell
And
yeah.
whether we do it with the Sandbox platform or outside of it, I don't know yet, but that's kind of like that's what my childhood dream was, and it's every day getting a little closer, and more people are into the idea, and it's like, holy shit, this actually might happen. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. It's been truly humbling, to be honest with you. I didn't really thought a bunch of people would care about my crazy ideas as much as I do, but I fucking love every single one of them, and yeah, I really couldn't do anything without them. Yeah.
Hell yeah. No, it's super cool. Like I'll probably say this multiple times again, and I've already said it multiple times, but it's been super cool to like just see your journey and just kind of see like you said, the community embrace what you're doing and really kind of run with it and now join the team and be building alongside you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's super cool. And I am excited to kind of see what happens with the animation side of things too. Are you thinking like cartoony? I'm assuming cartoon,
Yeah.
like cartoons, or what are you thinking when you say that?
Cartoons.
Yeah,
I'm trying to go, as old school as I can with it. I miss the Saturday morning cartoon feeling.
seriously.
And so my whole plan right now, it's not a good business model, but I think my whole plan is to just put the episodes out every Saturday morning on YouTube,
Why not?
um, and then just like roll with the punches, see if people will dig it. I'm just trying to capture a different type of audience that might not be into gaming and just still want to kind of explore the stories with us, see what's going on, and kind of hear the crazy thoughts that we come up with these weird mushrooms. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
figure branch out.
No, yeah, that's rad. You've mentioned a few things that I'm gonna circle back to, but one thing that you said that caught my eye is that you've encountered some hurdles along the way that you don't know if that's because you're like a company within a company, kind of is kind of how you worded it, as like a company building mainly on another company that's building, as the Sandbox is.
Yeah.
What are some of those hurdles that you've been experiencing?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because the main reason I'm not doing client work right now is because I can't promise a client anything at the moment. I can't tell them when their game is going to launch. I have no idea how much it's going to cost to produce their assets because I don't know what gems and catalysts are going to cost. And so those are kind of the struggles that we face as a company within another company, where our main revenue source is supposed to be clientele, right? Like we're supposed to be building for other companies and stuff. But I can't be honest with them at the moment and tell them this is exactly when your game is going to launch. And that's the certainty that I would want as another company investing in this, that I can't give them at the moment. And it makes it so that the client work that I do has to be approved, signed off, and out of my face and in their hands. And that's not something we can currently do with anything in the sandbox.
Yeah.
So I think those are the struggles that right now as a company we facing clientele work. And then with that, is the, everyday struggles that we all face as sandbox builders, that the platform is ever changing. And so, we can build a game to completion and it'll be broken if, something bad happens.
Yeah.
So I think stability in the platform, obviously it's getting better and better and better. And Sandbox is doing absolutely amazing work. But I think that we had a phenomenal growth spurt last year that put a lot of focus on this space that is really unfair to the Sandbox and their developers, and having to rush them to get these things ready. And these are the questions that clients have that we can't answer. And it's, it's a little untruthful to be like, I know that this will be done by this time and it'll work.
Right.
So I think that's like the big struggles that as a company we face right now, aside from the fact that this is, new territory, we're all remote, there's a lot of things that, you're trying to explain weird little voxel assets to people, so there's a lot of struggles that I never faced as a person, that's just my whole thing, like my own learning curve. But as a company within another company, there's a lot of questions that we just don't have answers to at the moment. And that's kind of, as those answers get, more clear, we get a little bit more certain on, maybe delivery dates and all that stuff, then, we'll have a much better time even reaching out to people. But at the moment, it's that's hard.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, that
and this is something the Sandbox is aware of, right? Like this isn't something that like they're completely oblivious to. We have meetings with them like every month about, all these things. And obviously they, I'm super patient with them because I know how long it takes to even build a game. I can't imagine what it takes to build a platform that's building this damn thing.
Right.
So like, mad props to them. They're doing amazing work. It's us that need to be a little bit more patient and for, to be more realistic with clients. So that's
just to kind of like go in on what you just said, is that I do think that we as a whole, as the Sand Fam, as people that are interested in playing the Sandbox and building in the Sandbox and everything that has to do with the Sandbox, we really do need to show more patience. Like it's hard to see some of the negativity that comes up around certain things that,
dude, I don't know if you were around for the Discord today, but
I have not been, so I don't know what's going on there. But yeah,
I mean, this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about, right? We're in an alpha, like it's plastered everywhere.
It's alpha,
right?
Yes.
Like things will change, guys. Things will change, and they constantly will change, and we're just rolling with the punches. Like this is our reality, right? And it's something that we have to embrace. It's a good thing if you look at it. Because they're at least listening to the problems and fixing them along the way. But today, I mean, the leaderboard thing, they cleared out a bunch of people's leaderboard scores that they deemed were.
I did see tweets about that. Yep.
And the Discord for, I think it's still going, to be honest with you. I was trying to like catch up, help the ambassadors out, and answer some questions and stuff. And we're talking as ambassadors, and like it's trying to just calm the community down a little bit, man. I mean, it's like, just relax, guys. Like this is so new, and they're trying their hardest, and it's not like they're a team of thousands of people working on this night and day. Like we all have to be a lot more patient with these tools that are actually really good. Like things actually work, right? Like things actually, we can actually do things. So yeah, it sucks to see, obviously, or you're gonna have those outliers, but I feel like the unspoken, the outspoken minority or whatever it is often really loud in the NFT space, and it really leaves like a sour taste that you kind of just want to tell everybody, like, come on, guys, like cut them some slack. Like there's so much going on at all times here.
Yeah, and I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head with the outspoken minority is, and that is, I mean, what we see happen time and time again in the NFT
Yeah.
space. Like that's just who's the loudest, and that's who gets the publicity, and that's who gets noticed. And it's unfortunate, but I mean, at the stage that we're at with everything in NFTs in general, but in specifically just speaking about the sandbox, like it's amazing what they've already accomplished, and we need to look at that and reflect on that and be grateful for that, and not focus our attention so much on what is going wrong or what needs to be fixed, because one, that's the reason that they're doing these alphas, is to figure out the things that they need to fix.
100%.
And so like that's the whole point behind alphas, is to, I mean, maybe there's more points than that, but that's the point that I would be focused on if I was building out this platform, is to find.
It's a live QA. It's a live QA session with the community.
Yeah,
you know, and the fact that they have hundreds of thousands of people playing the game, you know, I don't know what rank you are in the leaderboard, but I think I'm like 80,000. I don't even know. But
I'm down there.
It speaks. It's like there's a ton of people playing these things, so you're gonna hear, you know, if 100 people are really upset on Discord, it seems like everybody's just super angry with them, you know, and that's not necessarily the case. People understand that, you know, this is, you don't see, you know, I never saw PlayStation doing this, Nintendo doing anything like, hey guys, play this early access of Mario and let us know your feedback and we'll give you $500, dude. And it's
Right.
like, yeah, you know, like, so come on, let's relax a little bit, you know, like this is crazy that this is even happening, you know. So I don't know. I have a lot of patience when it comes to them, but it's the people outside it's really difficult. So that's why I kind of decided this year specifically, you know, at least until the end of the year, maybe further past that, we're just focusing on Tuschay Studio stuff. You know, I have a ton of ideas and I have a ton of things that I want to do. Might as well just put all the energy towards that. And just focus on our stuff, you know. And at the end of the day, we'll get clients the normal way, you know.
For sure.
Eventually, you know, we'll do our own things, and people will come to us for our games. But I just want to focus on creating experiences that people like, you know, stories that people find compelling, things that people want to stick around, not because they're getting money at the end of the day, but because they want to know what's going on next. And just, you know, the things that we grew up with, you know, falling in love with characters that, you know, you want to see what happens to them in the next story, things like that, that like I crave in cartoons these days. I crave in like any TV series and stuff like that. And, you know, now we have the kind of power to do it ourselves. So we'll try to, you know, do that. And then eventually, you know, client work will be something that hopefully will just be a natural progression from there. You know, people will want to work with the Funguys. You know, that's my dream, you know, is that not to create games from people and just completely exclude our IP or anything, but like having a company come up to us and say, hey, we want to work with your things and our things together and collaborate, you know, and do things like that.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I think that's the way to go. Especially right now with the state of everything, like it just makes sense to focus on building your brand, building your IP, and let the clients come to you in the future, because I mean, you already have the first mover advantage going for you. So I guarantee, and I'm sure you've had inquiries that you could get clients now. But in the future, after all these, like, what'd you say? You guys have like 5 games or something that you're building. Like once all these different things are out there in the open and people can actually start experiencing them and playing them, like it's just going to be a natural transition that people are going to go, oh, who built that, because we want something like that, and then they'll come to you. And like, so it's just,
yeah, that's not to say that we don't have current clients. Like we have a couple of clients right now that, you know, whether it's consulting things or anything like that, but in terms of publishing games at the moment, I don't think we're doing that for anybody that isn't our own games right now. And you know, it's partially because of the market. You know, it's not like that I didn't want to get revenue at the moment. You know, that's silly to say.
Yeah.
But it's hard to, you know, a year ago we had people knocking on our door day and night. You know, and it was so much so that I just had an automated response for that said that we're 8 months out for any build projects. And it turned into echoes. Like no one's been hitting us up. Like we get one or two a month, and they're usually from small projects that, you know, the interesting things that I get now are people that want to work with NFTs and us. You know, it's not so much clients that want to build in the sandbox. It's more like the marketing thing that they want us for right now, which is cool too. But we've noticed sandbox development has slowed down drastically, and I know it'll be back. It's just so in the time, you know, instead of us going out and chasing NFT projects that, frankly, I'll be honest, I don't care to work with.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't really. I don't. I just. It's not my thing. If rather than doing that, we want to work with IPs that, you know, we're passionate about,
Totally.
and in order to do that, I want to build a great portfolio that people love and they're entertained by. So why not, until, you know, this bear market, we'll ride the bear market, and during the bear market we'll build our own things on nice solid platform to like go off of. And then this, you know, eventually everything swings back around, and then once all the companies start coming rushing back in, you know, we'll have a nice basis of, like, we're proud of all of the games that we've put out so far. And then, yeah, people hopefully want to work with us because they've played our games.
Yeah, 100%. Um, Speaking of games that you guys have built and other things that you guys have built, what do you guys have going on in the sandbox right now?
So we got 5 games, 6 I think right now actually. So they're all Fungi games. The first one that we have is Fungi Kingdom, which I think is the one that you have in the little corner right there, that I'm sharing my screen on. So this game is done now. This is the Game Maker Fund project that's been in development for about 19 months now or something. So this game is done. We're just doing some testing and stuff and tweaking. I say done, but different versions of Game Maker beg to differ with me. So this is the Fungi Kingdom right now, and I think this is like the first time I probably showed what it looks like after it's been decorated fully. It's like it's the farm kind of a simulation game, kind of like Stardew Valley-ish and stuff, where you're kind of here and introduced to the first 7 Funguys and the story kind of goes from there. And then after this game, we're going to Fungi Space Cadet. So the storyline here takes you, lets you find out that, you know, there's other Funguys, and you go out into the universe to explore them. But in order to go there, we're creating a retro kind of top-down shooter that takes you from the Fungi Kingdom out into space, into the Fungi universe. And then the third game is Fungi Universe, which is going to be again with this style, kind of like an RPG, free roaming camera situation, where you're exploring 6 different planets in the Fungi universe, and meet 6 different types of biomes and all these really awesome stuff that we're creating for that. And then from there, we have 2 other games coming out that are kind of timeline-wise at the same time happening. Is Fungi Bug Out, which is you play through the eyes of a gastro guy, which is the enemies of the Funguys, these like snail characters that you'll see kind of roaming around the edges of this forest over here. Right here, these guys, they're the enemies in this experience, but you play as one of them in Fungi Bug Out.
Nice.
And then the other game in that is going to be Fungi Discovery, which is kind of be a survival type game. Like, I don't know, like if you know, it's hard to say Minecraft and then look at Sandbox at the same time. But like
Yeah.
Minecraft in the sense that, you know, you break a tree down, it gives you wood and you craft and stuff like that. And that's going to be through the perspective of a fungi. So you play as a fungi for the first time. So those are the 5 games, and then we have a couple other games coming out that are kind of retro themed, but they're like one-offs that don't have a timeline placement in them. But so basically throughout that, you go through, you know, 5 different games that kind of give you different perspectives of what's happening in each situation. And then from there, we're going to do a prequel to this game. And yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, that I love the different angles that you're taking and the different like styles of games and stuff. I think that'll be fun, and it'll be fun for like fungi lovers that that love playing everything that you release. And then it'll also be cool to see the different styles that will probably, I would imagine, attract different people into your community, that then maybe they'll get introduced to the RPG style game or whatnot. So
Yeah. My hope is to kind of develop with the sandbox, right? So right now we're building games that we know will work with the platform, right? That we can game test and make sure we're fine. As soon as they introduce racing, we'll come out with the Fungi racing game.
Yeah.
That'll fit somewhere in the timeline. But all of it with this interwoven storyline that's happening throughout the whole experience. And then from there, I have some crazy ideas that will happen after the Funguys. The Funguys are going to live on in a cartoon. We're going to stop making games with them and introduce our another one of our IPs that we've been working on for a few years, called Nightlight, and that one's it's gonna we're creating like a Tuschay Studios universe kind of thing.
Hell yeah.
That there's a bunch of different IPs that we're all kind of coexist in the same world, and how they all kind of play with each other is the really exciting part that I'm looking forward to getting into.
And you're not going to get into it today.
Well, I mean, so yeah, like
I was waiting for you to go on and you didn't. I was like, oh.
I don't want to share too much because it reveals what's going on in the Funguys too much.
Okay, sure, yeah.
But like from here, the Funguys become almost side characters in a different story, and then we go through the eyes of a different protagonist and a different storyline, a whole different crew, and they're still involved in a way. I won't say how, but they're involved in a way that makes them more background characters instead of the main characters. And we go through their storyline, and from there, it's this whole kind of universe where my buddy John and I got really stoned in a tiny house years ago and came up with like 6 different cartoons that eventually over the years kind of worked their way into the same universe.
Nice.
And so that's kind of what we're focusing on for those, and how we kind of created that like world and stuff. And so yeah, it all kind of it'll play the next. I'll give you this. The Nightlight is going to be more of a I'll say gritty noir type of mystery, a game.
Okay.
To it. And not just a game. That one's going to be a cartoon, a game, comics. We're doing the whole thing with that. So
the whole 9 yards. I love the direction you're going with like Tuschay Studios and developing this almost dare I say like Marvel-esque
really really tiny.
yeah but I mean that's where it starts from. I mean I don't know I'm not very like
no, but
Marvel.
But that's kind of I think that's kind of the thing that was always inspiring to me about those stories, and not just those stories, but like you have a lot of writers that also live in the same universe. A lot of like Stephen King stuff is all done in the same world. Stephen King's like world, but you also have like a bunch of writers do this, and it's always been inspiring to me. It's about creating this like universe that you can kind of just go, I have another idea and it doesn't match this story at all, but it can still pertain to this sort of world and just be a completely different thing, right? Like the Funguys is always going to be a happy type of game, something that's very kid friendly. I want it to be entertaining to everybody kind of thing, and also have this like, fun, airy approach to it, right? Nothing too serious, nothing too, we'll get into some serious themes, but in a lighthearted way. But then from there, I'm just going to go dark with it, and we're going to go and we have some dark humor that we just, it comes naturally to us. It's not necessarily like a kids friendly type of approach, but like hopefully by then our audience grows with us, and if there's any kids that, grow up with the show, they might, consume some of our other entertainment because they've grown up with the Funguys and maybe now they want to see them in the background. But yeah, I want to do so much, man, but it's, time and patience and getting, those steps established and going, I can't do this by myself. There's no way that I even want to do this by myself. So putting the people in the right places that really can take your ideas and make them grow. And it's just invaluable, man. It's an amazing thing to be able to do now. So I'm super fortunate. I'll say it again, but everybody that's on the team, I love them to death because of how much they've been able to like alleviate my sort of anxieties. That it's not like, things just happen now, but it's a lot easier to say things will, progress from here, and I'm not the only one that's going to make this grow. Right?
Totally.
Like it's now everybody's, kind of child, and that's awesome.
Yeah, no, I love that, and and that's such a it's such a skill to be able to release control and onboard and allow a team to start growing and forming. It and it takes practice, and I it sounds like you're definitely like getting over some of those hurdles, but I'm sure there'll be more in the future. And but it's what
It's the greatest. It's the greatest hurdles to have, though.
yeah.
It's the it was for a long time. I did marketing at a corporate company and all that stuff. And man, it's hard to wake up in the morning and be excited to go to work. But like this, just like you know, I don't need coffee. I just get up and go, kind of do the thing that I need to do. I'll work literally throughout the entire day and then go to bed and then wake up and keep doing the thing. And it's just constantly, I'm walking the dogs thinking about the next game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing all these things, and it's just now I'm really excited to kind of, it's challenges that you find exciting that I haven't had the opportunity to have in a long time, especially when it comes to work. So it's amazing, man. Like there's people out there that don't like what they're doing, and I am so freaking fortunate to actually enjoy this whole thing, and be able to like make it what I want to make it. And if I don't like a part of it, we just don't do it. I don't I don't keep anybody on schedules. I hated that part of jobs. I don't think it makes any sense. People work at different rates.
Right.
It makes no sense to assign everybody the same amount of time. So why not just like let people do what they want, man? And just like, come on, let's just, we all know what we do. It's just give people the responsibilities that they need, and then man, magic happens, man. It's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no.
beautiful.
I like I said, and I'm gonna say it again. I love just like seeing everything progress for you and
Thanks, man.
turn into what it's turning into. And I mean, it's gonna be fun to, I imagine, us having these conversations for years and years and years to come, and
Yeah.
just to continue to connect and like look back and like just see like, even, I mean, we're gonna have to look back at these first couple episodes and I'm sure we'll laugh, but like
Yeah.
just to be able to see like where you are and where you're going, like, and it's already like starting to like take shape, but like once everything is actually out there, it's gonna
Yeah,
be
and I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you that all of this is like a you're trying to hold water without a bucket. There's a lot of changes that
uh-huh.
are going to happen, and the team is going to grow, and we're going to do different things. Like this is my hope, those like, cartoons and everything. But hell, we might get into some crazy stuff later. Like I don't know, we might do VR TV shows. Who
Right.
the hell knows? And like it's about giving it that flexibility to kind of fit into whatever mold that ends up presenting itself to us, that I want to keep, and I want to make sure that we're flexible to kind of do whatever we need to not just keep the company going and keep our ideas alive, but like let them grow in different ways. Like there's video games, yeah, but like maybe not everybody likes video games. Maybe some people want to like go to a fungi like exhibit hall and like go into a little mushroom world. Let's do that too. Let's do whatever we can to kind of just keep these worlds creating, because there's really nothing else that I can find in like worthwhile. It's other than like creating things and having people enjoy it. And so like if that's going to be my job, it's not necessarily the role of an artist or the role of a game developer or the role of a it's about hopefully creating some sort of ideas that can I can hopefully pass on to other people and work with them and kind of see grow with them, and see that idea kind of like, maybe it's just a thought for me, but then they go off and they create another story with it, and then you know being able to help people, put them in those roles. Hopefully, it's the same thing that happened to me when I worked at a corporate company and I kind of got out of it and started doing more creative things. It inspires them. It gets people out of depressions. It really
Mm-hmm.
does something really good for the person when you can actually finally say, I enjoy what I do. and it's meaningful to me, and it's something that I really truly love, and that's something that no one really can take away from you.
Yeah, no, and I think finding ways to embrace your creativity and also allow others to access slash use their creativity, like it's just it's such a I'm at a loss for words of what it is exactly, but it's just such an a beautiful thing to be able to like bring to this world, because it's one thing for you to be able to create, and I know you enjoy creating, and you uh-oh, my battery's running low, it should be plugged in. um but like the allowing others to also like tap into their creativity, like that's prime stuff, and I think it's awesome that you're growing into something that is allowing for not just your own creativity to shine through, but everyone else's. And it's kind of cool, like you touched on it. Now I'm getting nervous about my battery. You touched on it. This is not charging. I don't
It's
know.
that hub again.
Yeah, I think it is.
You might have found out what was draining that battery.
Yeah, no kidding. For those of you guys who didn't know, I just moved, and I'm in a new spot, and I just got everything set up, and apparently my computer's not plugged in, and it says I have 1% of battery, so this might be the end of the show. But I'm gonna give you the stage, and I'm gonna try and figure out where my
No worries, dude. I think Nate just touched on something that I do want to give you props for. Like documenting these journeys and doing that is really awesome of you, man. Like this is something that is really going to be really cool to look back on in a few years, I think. And even just as we do it, like, the last time was a few months ago that we were on the show, and it's been so different from the last time, already. So yeah, this is awesome, man. This is super cool that you're doing this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything to plug other than the Fungi experience is coming out on the 22nd. I hope you guys all check it out. It's going to be in the Sandbox Alpha. You'll have EP points to get there and all that stuff. So definitely check it out. We're going to be doing a lot of contests. I'm going to be live on Twitch for 10 days, the entire 10 days that it's out until the end of Alpha. So we'll do a lot of fun stuff on Twitch.
Wait, you're going to be live for 10 days, 10 days straight? Sorry to cut you off.
Not straight. I'll sleep.
I was like, holy shit.
I'll be probably doing like 2 or 3 hour streams every day for the 10 days of the alpha and stuff like that. And then it's gonna be awesome. I do want to give a shout out to Mr. Gnarls, who's gonna get in this camera here. Come here. Now get in the stream. He's gonna start streaming soon too.
Hey, look at that beautiful face.
Yeah, he's gonna start streaming too. This is his setup, so we all have to encourage him to continue streaming. So I'll be putting his stuff up, and he'll be streaming all sorts of things with me and stuff like that. So we did have a marketplace drop today that came out earlier today with a bunch of.
What's up, guys? We had some technical difficulties. I'm a dingus. Forgot to plug in my laptop charger. I thought it was plugged in, but I got a rat nest down there, and I couldn't figure out which plugs were and were not plugged in. So we lost power towards the end of that episode, but that you were just watching. I wanted to take some time to just look over some of the stuff that Tuschay Studios is doing, since we didn't really give him a chance to go over the recent drop that they had on the Sandbox. So I'm gonna switch my screen over so that you can see the screen, and we'll just kind of go through some of the stuff that they just recently dropped, and then I'll let you guys go. So let's check this out. First, we'll just scroll through some of the tweets that he sent out, and then we'll go over to the marketplace and show you there. But you can collect the entire mushroom set, which is pictured right here. They're 50 sand per piece, and I don't know exactly how many pieces there are, but for sure a headpiece, a shield, a sword, a upper body piece of some sort, legs, and shoes. So those are all super cool. They'd be fun to be running around in your mushroom set. And then they got their mushroom dragon, that's going to be on the marketplace, which is an epic for only 105 sand. Super cool dragon. The mushroom hat, legendary, 425 sand. The mushroom gauntlet, which is also legendary at 425 sand. This one's super cool. I guess the fingers used to move, but I don't know if they left that in or not, but still looks cool either way. And then we got the mushroom boots. These things look fast. You want to get some, they're legendary, so I bet you they'll bump your speed up quite a bit. And then the Funguys. This is a fungi that you can get for 42.5. And mushy moose. Moose loaded up with some mushrooms. Ogden the otter. Sophie Fossey and Carl. I don't know how to say their names. I'm sorry, Tuschay. But these are Tuschay's dogs, I think. And then if you want, you can head on over to the marketplace. I'll drop a link in the description down below for you guys, and pick up any and all of these. Go support Tuschay. It's always awesome having him on the show. So yeah, head on over. You can scroll through. They got the mushroom glasses, which I got my eye on. So yeah, go pick up a few of these. Support what they're doing, and wear some cool stuff in the metaverse. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Sorry about the technical difficulties at the end, but we got through it. And thanks to Tuschay for coming on and answering my questions and hanging out and vibing. So we'll definitely have him on again in the future. But until then, stay tuned for more episodes. Peace.